Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the qualifying session here for round 4 of the GP4 DTM Offline Championship, the final DTM race before the 2-week Christmas break. I am not Dennis Graff, or even Danny to be exact. I am JW97, of course, the man who usually commentates for the qualifying in the top class. Well, Dennis and Danny couldn't be here today, but they should be back for tomorrow. So I've taken the place for today because Friday I'm usually available, but Saturdays not so much. So we are here for the qualifying session here at Mugello, the first ever time DTM will race here at the Mugello circuit. After the previous few seasons they've raced at Mazzano, so should be interested to see how DTM does around here at Mugello. So I think we can have a quick look at the weather for the qualifying session for today. And it looks like we'll just avoid the rain. There is rain on the +30, but because the qualifying usually lasts for around 25 minutes, we shouldn't get to that point. So I think without further ado, we might as well get on with the qualifying session. So obviously no activity in the stream chat. Hopefully that will be the case soon. But there are people watching. So you can say hello in the chat if you want to, guys. You don't have to stay silent if you don't want to. But it should be quite interesting. GP2 has already had a race here, of course, last season. In fact, it was the penultimate race for GP2 last season. But now it's DTM's turn to have a race at this magnificent circuit. And yeah, it should be interesting. Now, going into this race, of course, we have Julius Anderson leading the way by 10 points ahead of Daniel Aventer. Julius Anderson having a fantastic start to the season, getting a podium in the first 3 races. He won, obviously, at Hockenheim, finished 3rd in Portimao, and then a 2nd place at Aragon. Of course, the different layout of Aragon, using the MotoGP layout as the car layout of Aragon doesn't work very well for DTM, and to be honest, nor did this one, to be honest, hence why Flo is considering dropping it. But we are now here in the garages here at Mugello, and should be quite interesting indeed. 25 minutes on the clock, and we wait for the first car to make their way out onto the racetrack now then. So, who's going to be the first to come out then onto the racetrack? And let's see then, as we're viewing Will Parrish at the moment, there is some movement I can see there in the pit lane. In fact, a couple of movements going on. And Parrish is coming out onto the track. Will he be the first to come out before everybody else? Let's see. And the answer to that is yes, he will. So Will Parrish is going to be the first driver out on the racetrack, driving the blue Audi, of course. And Will Parrish, it's fair to say, for this season, it's been a bit of a shaky start to the season. Of course, he got points like in Hockenheim, of course, but in the last 2 races wasn't able to get points. Currently sits in 11th position in the Drivers' Championship, as Parrish makes his way through the chicane now then, and he'll make his way towards the next sequence of chicane. Now, I do have the corner names for these corners, but as you know from the GP2 commentary, my pronunciation of corner names is pretty much crap, so to speak. So I'm not going to even attempt. I'll just bother saying turns 1, 2, and 3 and move on from that point. But Parrish is the first car out on the track. There are a few more cars that are just making their way around the racetrack. Still some more still trying to get out on the garage. And that's that. Hello, Evan. Did I say shaky? I can't actually remember. I guess my brain has gone into full whatever. Anyway, as Parrish now then makes his way out of the long swooping right-handers, he's just got 3 more corners to negotiate before he starts his first flying lap of this qualifying session. There are 2 cars actually looking at the minimap who have come out just together, so maybe that could be a problem for them when it comes to traffic. But Parrish is going to be starting his lap now then, as he uses all of the curb on the outside. Be very interested to see what the pit lane entrance is like with these DTM cars, because you know in GP2 they tended to lock up before they reach the pit limiter. But anyway, Parrish now then starts his lap as he makes his way down towards the long swooping turn 1, where we'll probably see a lot of the overtakes being done in this race. We saw it in GP2, and I think it may be the same for DTM as well. Into turn 2, it kind of narrows up out of turn 1, of course. It's kind of wide going into the first corner, but then tightens up out of turn 3, using all the curb on the outside before making your way towards the very quick turns 4 and 5 section. It's a quicker complex of corners than what it was at turns 2 and 3, as now you make your way down towards the very fun part of the track, the right, left and right complex of corners now then. Flat through the left-hander, and then nearly flat through this long swooping right-hander before approaching the corner where Lance Stroll had his tyre failure last year in the real-life Formula 1 Tuscan Grand Prix. Now making your way down towards the next sequence of corners. These are usually quite a few chicanes around this track, it must be said. Scarperio and Palagio are the corners. You can tell how crap my pronunciations are. through the long sweeping right-hander. We do sometimes see some overtakes here when strategy is played at hands, especially when it's wet. Whether that will be the case for DTM, that is going to be another question. We just exited out of the last chicane before making our way towards the long sweeping final corner. Paris using all the curb on the inside and then using a lot out of it, and using a bit of the pit exit as well as a bit of a reference point. But anyway, Will Parrish crosses the line. What's the benchmark time going to be? A 125.721. Catalan, meanwhile, crosses the line, slots into second position. As Quarg, meanwhile, went to the top by 0.3 of a second. Kloss crosses the line and goes into fourth position. Wolf now slots into second. Here comes Maxim Titkov. He slots into sixth place himself. Florian Volker across the line. He will come only P7 for the 5-time top class champion, as Rifki Fakrezane now then makes his way across the line and goes into sixth position. Julius Anderson, the current championship leader, goes to fifth, as his teammate Jay McKenzie goes into fourth. Max Norberg crosses the line in second place, the man who won last time out in Aragon, of course. Rico, meanwhile, slots to fifth. Will Neller slots into sixth position, as here comes Jared Fosbury, goes into 11th. Lincoln Parner, fourth position for him. Halil Shahin slots onto the front row at the moment, and now so does Berenek as he pushes Shahin onto the second row. Bennett goes into fifth position. Daniel Adventure crosses the line, only P15 for him. Matthias Terwick across the line in 16th. Here comes the 2018 GP2 champion, Davi Suarez. Cross line he goes, and he goes fastest by nearly 0.2 of a second. So Davi Suarez to the top of the timing sheets as Victor Bobo slots himself into 18th. So after the first runs, we have Davy Suarez, who's at the top of the timing sheets, with Roman Quarg in second and Krzysztof Berenek in third position. The championship leader, Julius Anderson, only 13th after the first runs, and his nearest rival, Daniel Adventure, only 16th. It's fair to say over the last few races, despite the fact that he currently lies in second place in the Drivers' Championship, Daniel Adventure hasn't had the best of qualifying, but he seems to be able to hook it up in the races when it matters the most. So that's really loud. Suarez going up in the first sector, but it doesn't really matter because he is coming back into the pits this lap. As now going around the double right-hander will go Davy Suarez, as he will now make his way towards the pits this lap, as will everybody else. Now, usually when the second laps come about, usually one driver gets left behind. So, be very interested to see who gets left behind in the second set of laps. As I look at everybody's pit exit entrance, and it looks similar to what we saw in GP2. So, it will be interesting in the race, especially with all the locking up that these drivers tend to do just to slow them each other down, depending on what line they take when they swerve right into the pits. I nearly did a Jonathan Ross there and said rights with a W there. So yeah, really did a Jonathan Ross there. So Davy Suarez, the current pole sitter, now coming into the pits, and he'll be looking to see if he can try and hold on to that if he can, and maybe try and improve to ensure that he keeps hold of that pole position. And as Florian pointed out in the chat, under a second covers the rest of the pack, with Florian Volker, who currently sits in last, ideally 0.999 behind Davy Suarez. It's a bit like a price tag at a supermarket, really. Everything's got to be like whatever price and then .99p. So it's pretty much like that, really, with Florian Volker's gap between himself and Davy Suarez at this point in time, as Will Parrish quickly went into the pits and now quickly comes back out onto the racetrack. So just like on the first run, he's going to be the first to come out for the second run at this point in time. And so hello everybody who is currently just viewing the stream right now. You can give a cheeky hello in the stream chat if you want to. That is totally fine. You don't need to stay quiet on this one, or you can do if you want to. We're not pressuring you to say hi. But anyway, Parrish just comes out of the turn 5 chicane now then before making his way through the downhill complex, and so he'll make his way through the left and then through the double right-hander. He will soon come up towards the Arabiata corners, as they are called. I think I got that one pronunciation right, so I'll give myself a plus 10 on that, or plus 1. So around the Scarperio and the Palagio corners now then, as Parrish will prepare to start his next flying out. There's still some cars in the pit lane, so Parrish will be hoping by the time he gets back around the racetrack that there'll be no traffic in the way, and that would obviously be a bit of a nightmare for him, because as I mentioned on the first flying laps, there only seems to be really one realistic overtaking opportunity, and that is down into the first corner here at Mugello. So it will be very interesting indeed. But Parrish about to start his second flying lap. As mentioned, he'll be hoping there'll be no traffic on his second flying lap, as he will now start his lap now then, as we look to the right hand side to see if there's anybody coming out of the pits, and luckily for him there doesn't seem to be anybody there, so Parrish will be able to get a clean second lap underneath him, as now he will go around the first corner now then, and then in towards turns 2 and 3. Of course, it narrows out on the exit, so that will be interesting to look out for at the start of the race tomorrow, especially given how chaotic DTM race starts can be at times, given that these are, of course, touring cars and not open wheelers. Out of the first, coming up towards the end of the first sector, then will come Will Parrish, and he appears to be, I think, yes, he's down on his personal best in the first sector. I needed to see where the delta time was there, and it was on the top right, so I just found it there. So yeah, Parrish is down on his personal best in the first sector, so far the American is not looking at an improvement at this point in time, as he took a lot of curb there at the second part of the Arrabbiata corners. So yeah, very interesting line there for Will Parrish, is now making your way down towards the long swooping right-hander, as again Parrish is still down on his personal best in the middle sector, so I don't think the American is going to improve, but you never know, of course. Miracles can sometimes happen, but I think on this occasion it's highly unlikely that we're going to see Parrish improving on his lap, especially given that he's overall 5 tenths behind Suarez, and in that sector he was 6 tenths down on Suarez in the second sector. So unless he performs some kind of miracle, I think we aren't expecting to see Parrish get out of 9th position. So Will Parrish crosses the line, and as expected, does not improve his toe. It's about to start out very soon. Quagga, who's also down on his personal best, is on the racetrack at this point in time. Not been a very good start to the season for the Frenchman, and he does not improve, remains in second place. So far, looking at a very good qualifying at the moment is the Frenchman, unless somebody can improve. Speaking of improvements, Bartosz Kloss is currently on an improvement in the moment. All depends on how he hooks up this last sector, though, as he now uses all the curb on the outside as the Ferrari test driver makes his way down the pit straight. And what can Bartosz Kloss do? Can he dethrone Suarez from the top? No, he can't. Very close indeed. He does get onto the front row, pushes Quagga down onto the second row, so up into P2 goes Bartosz Kloss, as Rivki Fakhrizadeh is on improvement, Kloss's former teammate, and he goes up into 9th position, so improvement there. Titkov crosses the line, no improvement for him, remains down in 21st, not a good session for him. 12th for Fosbury, so an improvement there for the former Haas driver, as Catalan goes into the top 10 there, as Adam Wolf doesn't improve. I think he was up on his personal best in the middle sector, but appears to have lost time in the last sector. I didn't really quite catch the delta at that point. Florian Volker, meanwhile, is on improving. He needs to improve because he is in last position. Where is Volker going to emerge on this lap? He goes up to 13th, so he pushes Titkov down to last, as Nella, his teammate, doesn't improve. Campana, meanwhile, slots into 9th position, as Baranek, who has got some traffic behind, does not improve. That traffic being Suarez, who does improve on his personal best, in fact, a 125.185. So Suarez improves on his current pole position time. Anderson, surprisingly not on an improvement and remains in 18th, so not a good sign there for the championship leader. Matthias Terwijk now then. Down the pit straight will go the Polish driver. Where can he emerge? And he goes up to 12th, so an improvement there. So the top 2 in the championship down on row 10 on the grid as we speak. Thomas Bennett crosses the line, no improvement for him, as Mackenzie improves to go up into 10th position. Halil Shahin crosses the line, no improvement for the Turkish drivers. Bobo goes up into 6th and pushes Anderson and Adventure even further down. So that's not good news for them indeed. Bobo now into the top 10. Here comes Gabriel Rico, the Brazilian now, then crosses the line, and he goes up into 13th position. So an improvement there then for David Suarez's fellow compatriot, as Norberg is currently on the lap, but it doesn't look like the Austrian is improving at this point in time. The 2018 Formula E champion just negotiating around the final 3 corners on the racetrack. Currently lies in 7th position. So that's that really. It's hello everybody who's just joined the chat. Hello Davey, hello Matthias, hello Rob, and that's that. A Romanian cookie, okay, Rob. I'm trying my best to reduce myself from saying cornering names, but I will say the odd corner name in there. I can say the Arrabbiata corners, so that's the only thing I can pronounce, and also Scarperia, I think. So, but that's it. I think I'm gonna reduce myself. Actually, in fact, I can say the Casanova corner. I think there are a few I can pronounce, but the others, not too much. Maybe Luco, which is turn 2. Okay, stop yourself, Joe. You're just trying too hard now to pronounce a corner name, so I'm going to stop myself. So, anyway, as we wait for the third set of runs to happen, and I think Parrish, is he coming out on track again? Yes, he is. He is, and once again, the first on the racetrack. He loves being first out on track, does Mr. Parrish. So, that's that, really, as Parrish now then comes out of the pit lane, and he will now negotiate around the first corner. Mugello, of course, I will ask you guys' opinion. What is your opinion on Mugello? Personally, I love this circuit very much, and I do wish that Formula 1 would come back here, because when they came here in real life in 2020, it was surprisingly a very good race. It was better than what everybody anticipated, really, with this track, and I think if you had the newer cars around here, I think this track would be a lot of fun to watch. So, hope they do come back here one day, but for now, obviously, they had the one-off year in 2020 when we were all scrambling to try and get a calendar in real life. So it served its purpose, I guess, and also served the purpose of it hosting Ferrari's 1000th Formula 1 race. So that's that, really. As Parrish now then just will be preparing to start his next lap very soon. Only 2 cars on the track, but I am seeing movement in the pit from the pit exit there, and I think there are more coming out right now. And I will say, like on the previous lap, Parrish will be hoping not to incur any traffic on this lap. So let's see what Parrish can do then on this lap. Currently down in 16th position, and it'll be interesting to see if he could try and get the Audi into the top 10. But only time will tell, of course, as he just comes down the pit straight now then. Will there be any traffic when he comes down the pit straight? Let's have a look as he starts his lap now. Keep an eye on the right hand side. There is some traffic right next to him. I think that's Maxim Titkov that's coming out on the track, but he's clear of him. There is a Mercedes in front, I believe Jay McKenzie, but I think Parrish might be okay, so I don't think he's going to get affected too much by Jay McKenzie. If anything, if he manages to stay away from him on this lap, he might get a healthy bit of slipstream when they come back down the pit straight. So here comes Will Parrish then, making his way towards turns 4 and 5 on the racetrack. And he'll be approaching the end of the first sector. Let's see, compared to his delta time, what it's like. And he's up on his personal best, in fact, by nearly a tenth, I should say. So nearly a tenth he's up on his personal best by. He's 1/10 down on Suarez in the first sector. He is getting a little bit close to McKenzie, so maybe he's already getting a bit of slipstream, but he'll be hoping not to get too close behind. Otherwise, this lap will get compromised for the American, I should say, as now down towards the right and left complex of corners before approaching the long swooping right-hander of Currenteo, and I've butchered that pronunciation, I apologise. But Parrish still up on his personal best in the main sector. In fact, he didn't really lose too much in that middle sector, so far could be a good lap, but he is getting closer now to the back of Jay McKenzie, and he needs to be careful here, he doesn't get too close behind, otherwise this could affect his lap. Through the final corner we go. He will get a healthy dose of slipstream though from the 2-time top class champion, but will he be effective enough? Let's see. Down the pit straight, he's going to go to the left hand side. Will Parrish improve and get out of 16th position? And he answers yes, he goes up to P3, so a big improvement there. The slipstream definitely helping the American. Daniel Venture meanwhile crosses the line, goes up to 9th, gets into the top 10. A good lap from him as the current pole sitter Davy Suarez training apparently, according to Florian Volker. But I did mention, of course, that we might avoid it getting wet, but we will wait and see, of course. There was expected rain to come, but only at the plus 30 mark, so I don't expect it to wet up, but we will see. Adventure, as I was speaking there, goes up into 9th position, which is good news for him. Davy Suarez, the current pole sitter, just on a lap, I should say, maybe looking to try and see if he can further improve on that 1 minute 25.185, as Rifki Fakrezé, meanwhile, across the line, no improvement for him. There's a couple of other cars there about to start a lap. Here comes Roman Quarg, making his way out the final turn. It looks like he matched his personal best in the middle sector, judging from that delta on the top right. But Quarg, meanwhile, crosses the line. What can he do? And he goes up to 4th. A good improvement there for the Frenchman. As Catalan not able to improve. Kloss was up on his middle sector, but didn't improve. Wolf does though. He goes up into P5. Here comes Will Neller in the Mercedes, currently down in 20th position. And let's see what the Petronas driver can do. And he goes up to 7th. He gets himself into the top 10. Krzysztof Berenek is also on an improvement now. The Czech driver goes up to 4th. A big improvement for him as well. Julius Anderson crosses the line. Only 21st for the championship leader. I got him confused there with the 2006 top class runner-up there, Joshua Anderson. I don't know why. Fosbury went up to 8th whilst I made that mistake, as Titkov goes up into 18th, pushing the championship leader down into last position. That's not good news for Julius Anderson, as now getting him down the pit straight there goes Davy Suarez. And now let's see what Suarez can do, and does not improve. Stays on 1 minute 25.185. Here comes Florian Volker. He's on an improvement. Currently on the back row of the grid. Can he get out of the back row? Yes, he can. Up the way up into 6th place goes the 5-time top class champion. Campana, no improvement for him. Nor for Terwick either, as Fakrezé goes back into the pits. Here is Hal Shahin, who's currently in the cusp of the top 10 as we speak at the moment. Not on an improvement unless he tries to hook up some kind of miracle in the last sector with just under 8 minutes to go. Shahin crosses the line, no improvement. Bobo doesn't improve, remains in 11th position. Here comes Gabriel Rico now then. Across the line will go the Brazilian driver. And he goes up to 11th. Wasn't able to find time in the middle sector, but found it in the last sector. Probably got a healthy dose of slipstream, which is probably why he was able to. Thomas Bennett now then comes down the pit straight. Across the line will go the Welshman. No improvement for him either. So he remains where he is at this point in time, which is P15. So they are the third runs done and dusted with. And, well, for most of them at least, I should say. Because I know there was the odd one that stayed in the pits. So that's something to bear note about. Mackenzie will come back into the pit lane, as will everybody else really, as this Titkoff. And the Titkoff now then in the pits. And he'll be waiting to guard again in just a little bit to maybe do one more run. It all really depends really on how much time is left on the clock. And for some of these, they might be reaching their limit when it comes to doing flying laps, because we know that there's a limit on Grand Prix 4. I mean, you can adjust that limit via modding, but not sure if it has for this one. I think it's still stuck on the vanilla gamed 12 laps. So anyway, as somebody has now come out onto the racetrack, and for once I don't think it is Parrish. It's not. It's Daniel Adventure, the man who currently lies second in the Drivers' Championship, down in 14th at the moment. And touched upon it earlier that he doesn't seem to have the best quality pace, but in the race pace it seems to be pretty okay for the former GP2 driver, who's having another crack at DTM after quite a couple of tricky seasons in the second tier. Obviously, the dream is still to try and get into the top class, but it has been several seasons now. You're probably wondering, is Daniel's patience starting to run out a little bit? Who knows, really? But anyway, hello, Jay McKenzie, who's just joined us in the chat. And, hello there. And, just reading what Flo just put there. In fact, to be honest with you, Flo, I think that's a bit of realism, to be honest, having the rain dot still on the windscreen, because you have that in real life anyway, even when it stopped raining. I know it evaporates over time, but I felt it just had a bit of realism, personally. So, anyway, even if it is just an accidental bug. So, anyway, Venture now then just goes... Oh, you meant that? I thought you meant the actual window screen itself. Never mind, ignore me. So, anyway, Adventure now then comes around... final 3 corners, and he will start potentially his final flying lap. I'm not sure if he's reached his max cap yet. I'm not sure. We'll find out anyway when we look on the timing tower when he finishes his next flying lap. But like in the case with Will Parrish, you'll be hoping there'll be no traffic on the outside of him when he out the pit lane, I should say. Didn't look like it from that view, and it looks like that is the case. So Adventure will be able to get a clean lap underneath his belt. I can't say the same for Norberg behind though. He's just started the lap. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I'm not sure. As into turns 2 and 3 will go Daniel Adventure. As now through the left and right-hander he will go. As he will use as much curb on the outside as possible before making his way towards turns 4 and 5. Let's see what his first sector is like compared to his personal best. And he's down on his personal best in the first sector. 3 tenths off of Suarez to be exact, as he just negotiates through the right-hander there of Casanova. And then into Savelli, and then into the Arboretta corners. So the Arrabbiata corners. I was getting well at that pronunciation, and then I butchered it. Typical me. Anyway, as Adventure comes up towards the end of Sector 2 now, then let's see what it's like compared to his personal best. And he's still down on his personal best. In fact, I think he's way off his personal best, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, he is just under 6 tenths down on Suarez in the second sector there. As Adventure now then comes up toward, or down towards the final corner, I should say, because it goes downhill from this point. Through the final turn. Now onto the pit straight will go Daniel Adventure as he makes his way onto the pit straight. And across the line will go the Polish driver. And can he improve? No, he can't. He did pick up some time in the last sector, but still not enough there then. As Norberg crosses the line, no improving, and he did get held up. But I believe that was Suarez he was stuck behind. I might be wrong on that. As Parrish now then is trying to get some slipstream off the car in front, but it didn't quite work out because I think he got held up earlier on in the lap, so that didn't really help Parrish in the end, remaining in third position. And nobody got the checker flag, in fact, so they might have one more lap underneath them. We'll have to wait and see, but it all really depends on how much time is left on the clock. Wolf improves, though. He goes up into 7th position. Matteo Catalan now then making his way down the pit straight. No improvement for the former Toro Rosso driver. He finds himself down in 20th position. The whole pack separated by 6 tenths of a second, so pretty close again. Covers the whole DTM pack. As now Christoph Berenek will now cross the line. No improvement for him. As Roman Quarg will cross the line. No improvement for him either. As Florian Volk is about to start what should be his final flying lap, given how much time that's left on the clock. Kloss doesn't improve. Same will go for Campana as well, like with Volker. Vakrazane, no improvement for him. As here comes Julius Anderson, who's not an improvement. So we could be looking at a championship leader here, starting in last position. And we are. So Julius Anderson, the championship leader, will start in last position for tomorrow's race here at Mugello. The final DTM race, of course, before the 2-week Christmas break, as Will Neller makes his way down the pit straight, and no improvement for the 2017 top class champion. Jay McKenzie, speaking of fellow top class champions, is not on an improvement as we speak, as Davy Suarez has been cleared of that bit of traffic that was around him. Neither McKenzie or Suarez were able to improve there. Fosbury getting held up at the moment by Will Parrish, so that might not help his cause either way, as Fosbury is currently in 9th position and he remains in 9th position. Titkov on a lap, but it looks like he's not going to be on an improvement. He is down in 19th position at the moment, is the Russian and the former Mana driver. Titkov crosses the line, no improvement for him. Stays in 19th position. The Catalan will make his way into the pits. We now look at Matej Turwick, who is up on his personal best. Turwick currently on the back row of the grid at this point in time, looking to see if he can get out of that back row and push Catalan onto it if he can. Using all the curb on the outside, down the pit straight will go the Polish driver, and Matej Turwick now then crosses the line and goes up to third. A big improvement there for the Polish driver. Matej Turwick up into 3rd position. As here comes Florian Volker, who's also on improvement, and he goes up to 6th. A big improvement there for the Germans. A P6 for Florian Volker. Lincoln Parner not able to improve, remains in 17th position as Anderson goes back into the pits. As now we look at Victor Bobo on his final flying lap, just coming around the final turn himself now then. Using all the curb on the outside. He's not on an improvement, and I don't expect him to improve. He is down in the unlucky position of 13th. And he stays in that unlucky number 13. As Bennett's on a lap, he's also got, I think, Shahin behind him. Bennett doesn't improve, and nor does Shahin. Shahin remains where he is at the moment. And I think that is qualifying done with. So as a result, it means that Davy Suarez will be on pole position for tomorrow's race here at Mugello. The 2018 GP2 champion, back on form after a season out of the OC. Somebody goes out on track just to get a mileage run. I believe that's Adam Wolf. No, it's Daniel Adventure. I do apologise. Just going out there for a mileage run. But it don't matter anyway, because Davy Suarez is on pole position for tomorrow's race here at Mugello. So it should be a pretty interesting race tomorrow here at Mugello, and it'll be very interesting to see what it's like going into that first corner. Suarez will be joined on the front row, of course, by Bartosz Kloss, as the checker flag is now out, signifying officially the end of the session, as Sahin and Bennett will be coming back into the pits this lap. We'll go through the leaderboard once we get back onto the main menu screen. But yeah, so that is the qualifying done with, and as expected, although we did get the rain drops in this qualifying session, they didn't wetten the track up as expected. So at least we were able to get some clear laps in this time by. As Shahin makes his way towards the final turn, trying to find a way fast on Bennett, but it's not going to matter because both of them are going to peel into the pits this lap. And they both do now then, and it looks like Shahin's going to get a lock-up. He does, just about avoiding Bennett going into the pit lane there. And so luckily no contact there between the pair. Then we'll just wait for Adventure to cross the line, and then it should take us to the main menu screen in just a little bit, as Adventure just comes around the final turn. And now making his way onto the pit straight. Adventure will finish off his mileage run in the BMW Team RMG. Adventure crossing the line, and there you go, that's completed his mileage run. Adventure, of course, will start 15th tomorrow ahead of his rival Anderson, who has to do it all from last on the grid. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the championship leader can do. So here is your grid then. It is Davy Suarez on pole, with Bartosz Kloss in second, Matej Turwick, his fellow compatriot, in third, with Will Parrish in fourth, Krzysztof Berenek in fifth, with Florian Volker in sixth, Roman Quarg in 7th position. Then it is Adam Wolf in 8th, Will Neller 9th, Jared Fosbury in 10th, with Halo Shahin in 11th, Gabriel Rico 12th, Victor Bobo in 13th, with the Aragon winner Max Norberg in 14th position, followed by Daniel Adventure in 15th, Thomas Bennett in 16th, then it is Lincoln Parner 17th, Jay McKenzie 18th, Rivki Fakrazin 19th, Maxim Titkov 20th, Matteo Catalan in 21st, and in 22nd and last is the championship leader, Julius Anderson. So there you have it then. That has been the qualifying session here at the Autodromo Internazionale del Mugello, and a very interesting qualifying session, and it should be a very interesting race for tomorrow. You should get Dennis and Danny as commentary for tomorrow. This was only a one-off as they couldn't make it for today, so obviously I'm not available to do commentaries on a Saturday, but Dennis and Danny should be tomorrow, so you should get your regular commentators back for tomorrow. But that has been it then. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. I've been JW97. Of course, tomorrow you'll have the Btcc qualifying as well at 1 PM GMT at the National Layout of Donington Park. And then later on at 7 PM GMT, you'll get the DTM race at Mugello. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.